Possible tax and gun charges against Hunter Biden. But the Republican chair of the House Oversight Committee is urging prosecutors to hold off on any indictment. James Comer says that he will reveal some big new evidence on Wednesday of this week.
This is about the entire Biden family, including the President of the United States. So we believe there are a whole lot of accounts that the IRS and the DOJ don't know about because we don't believe they've done a whole lot of digging in this.
Miranda Devine, New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor, follows the story very closely. Miranda, welcome back here, and thank you for being on our program today. He's saying that what they have is a drop in the bucket. All right, we've been waiting 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know what Comer has, but will the DOJ trump him? And if it does Comer not? Is he unable to release his information?
Yeah, hi, Bill. Look, I think what James Comer is telling us is that whatever the DOJ is doing in their 5-year investigation in Delaware into Hunter Biden's overseas business deals, it's just a drop in the bucket. It is, they are preparing for a slap on the wrist. I don't think that there is going to be anything imminent this week, as I think foreshadowed by the Washington Post. It seems that this is going to drag on, and there's certainly a lot of very strong fighting coming from Hunter's side. He has teams of lawyers, the most expensive lawyers in the country, and that's what US Attorney in Delaware, David Weiss, is up against. James Comer, though, has been following the money, and he seems to think that he's done a more thorough job than the DOJ has been able to do in 5 years. Let's see what he has on Wednesday, but I don't think he'll be gazumped.
Okay, all right, we'll wait on that. Meanwhile, late on Friday night, MSNBC had an interview that it aired with the commander-in-chief. He was asked about this, and the answer's gotten a lot of reaction. Watch.
Sir, there is something personal that's affecting you. Your son, while there's no ties to you, could be charged by your Department of Justice. How will that impact your presidency?
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him, and it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
The legal experts are saying just commenting on that makes for a sticky wicket. Explain, Miranda.
Yes, and this is something that Joe Biden and, remember, his Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, have been doing from the start. And considering that Joe Biden is the boss of the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who is the boss of the US Attorney in Delaware, David Weiss, that has a chilling effect. Who would want to be David Weiss at the moment with that kind of pressure coming down on him? You know, I think that what Joe Biden is doing is setting the stage for you know, his pardon of his son, if it comes to that, perhaps in his lame duck period. He's always played on the sympathy card. He's had a lot of tragedy in his life, so that's been politically expedient for him. And I think he's doing the same here. He's setting himself up as someone whose only crime is that he loves his son too much.
Wow, okay, Political kind of echoes that a little bit. It wrote, bracing for impact, Biden world preps for a Hunter Biden fallout and says Biden aides are more worried about the personal toll it will take on the president as a father. You dropped 3 stories last night at the New York Post. Put them in one sentence. What do we need to know, Miranda?
Well, again, it's allegations that have been around for at least since 2018 about Joe Biden being involved and benefiting from his family's influence peddling scheme. We know from last week there was a whistleblower who came forward that James Comer and Chuck Grassley in the Senate seemed to be very excited about, who said that there was an allegation to the FBI that was contained in a form with the FBI from a confidential source alleging that Joe Biden had received bribes from a foreign national or from a foreign country in order to change policy. Don't know if those allegations are real, but that's what James Comer says this whistleblower is alleging. And now we find from another former US attorney, this time from Arkansas, that back in around that period. He also brought to the DOJ, in fact, to Jeffrey Berman, the US Attorney in New York, similar allegations that Joe Biden was involved, this time in Ukraine, with some sort of bribery scheme. So again, Jeffrey Berman did nothing about this as far as Bud Cummins knows, and in fact Bud Cummins got spied on himself.